smartest film critic in the world, Cole Smithy.
Hi, this is Cole Smithy with ColeSmithy.com and your guide to what to see and what to avoid at the movies this week. Even the most knowledgeable punk rock historians would be hard-pressed to expound on the unforgettable music created by a trio of African-American brothers from Detroit who dared to name their proto-punk band Death back in the early 70s.
It was a great time. It was that Motown time.
Documentarians Christopher Covino and Jeff Howlett bring to life an essential but overlooked chapter in punk's vibrant history that inevitably leads to Michigan, home to such punk progenitors as Iggy Pop, Alice Cooper, and the MC5. The sons of a Baptist minister, David, Bobby, and Dennis Hackney grew up close. Dennis took up the drums while Bobby played bass, and the eldest, David, set out to meld Pete Townshend's rhythm guitar skill with the lead playing of Jimi Hendrix.
We got turned down by every major label. I just put the tapes in a safe place.
The death of their father was a catalyst for David to change the name and direction of the band, formerly Rock Fire Funk Express, to Death. Songs with titles like Politicians in My Eyes and Keep on Knocking led to a self-released single. But when commercial success came knocking in the guise of an offer from Arista Records producer Clive Davis, David spoke for the band when he refused Clive's only demand, that the band change their incendiary name. Buoyed by heartfelt interviews with surviving brothers Bobby and Dennis, who went on to form a reggae band called Lamb's Bread, this concise documentary takes a surprising turn toward the rediscovery of Death as a lasting influence in today's music scene.
It's been 34 years since the songs have been heard.
Store, hoping for another great story like that.
I don't know of one.
As much a think piece on America's faded glory as a musical history lesson and character study, a band called Death is yet another example of the power of documentaries to surpass Hollywood's incessant stream of processed pap. I give this outstanding documentary an A.
Again, this is a developing story. There has been an explosion.
Absolutely shocking.
Copycat redundancies to the recent Olympus Has Fallen aside, White House Down is an unintentionally laughable action movie that wallows in involuntary cynicism about how America, or screenwriter James Vanderbilt at least, views the White House as the world's biggest crime ring.
John Cale. Why do you want to be in the Secret Service?
I can't think of a more important job than protecting the president.
Buried in a shallow grave just beneath its veneer of absurdly cheesy Americana platitudes lays mocking subtext, twitching with spastic gestures and pointing awkwardly at a corrupt political system eating itself from the inside out. U.S. President Jack William Sawyer, played by Jamie Foxx, can't wait to explain his occupational predicament to the first pair of ears that comes along. The first term is all about getting reelected, he tells an upstart Secret Service agent, before explaining that now, during his second term, he is finally ready to do something that will make a difference. Sound familiar? You'd think he was petitioning for single-term limits for the presidential office. Interestingly, the ever-buff Channing Tatum dons the Edward Snowden mantle as John Cale, no, not the Welsh composer and musician of Velvet Underground fame, although that would have made for an interesting movie. Like Snowden, Cale has a history of not finishing things, e.g. school. But our would-be Secret Service agent bodyguard has friends, mainly female, in high places.
And they come in here to get us.
We have a scrambled sat phone in the residence.
Great, where's that at? Of course it is. By the way, John Cale.
James.
He went to college with White House Secret Service official Finnerty, played by Maggie Gyllenhaal, one of President Sawyer's right-hand agents. Still, when Cale arrives at the White House for a job interview with Agent Finnerty, with his 12-year-old daughter Emily, played by Joey King, in tow, she quickly gives him the thumbs down. So much for friends in high places. Cale is a perfect outlier, ready to pounce for the true cause of liberty when he gets a chance. On this particular day, a crew of generic baddies sneak into the White House to hack into its computers, take hostages, and see how far down the line of presidential succession they can move the title of Commander-in-Chief. Naturally, Cale's daughter falls into the hostage category, while our able-bodied hero takes personal responsibility for getting the president out alive, while all hell breaks out around them. Although its plot gymnastics are idiotic to the point of parody, White House Down makes a smart point about how vicious, cunning, and vengeful America's power-hungry politicians are. They all want to be king for a day and don't give a damn about how many civilians get crushed, punished, or put out of work and home in the process.
No, don't shoot him!
The best thing this cinematic assault on the senses has going for it is its title. Like Edward Snowden, America is on its own, and there are very few places to hide. I give this poor effort a D+. My sleeper pick is Hidden Universe 3D, and my guilty pleasure pick is 100 Bloody Acres. My must-have DVDs are Upside Down from Millennium, Hansel and Gretel Get Baked from New Video Group, and Honest from Acorn Media. Like Casablanca, Chinatown represents a perfect storm of prodigious cinema talent coming together under an intoxicating noir setting, albeit of neo-noir influence attributed to by the warm California sun. Robert Towne's screenplay is the stuff of legend. A perfectly layered script without a scrap of fat on it. It may well be the most economical screenplay ever written. Director Roman Polanski exerted considerable influence on the script, and particularly its non-traditional ending. Legendary Hollywood producer Robert Evans played a significant part in the success of the film he commissioned. With a bold adaptation of Shakespeare's Macbeth and a cheap excursion into sexy frivolity, a movie called What, under his belt, Roman Polanski had finally purged himself of his wife Sharon Tate's brutal murder in 1969 and was back to working at the height of his powers. Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway, and John Huston each deliver career-high performances. Their every gesture seems written in stone. The glamorous setting is 30s Los Angeles, where secret political wrangling over water rights for the area is cause for more than a little criminal activity on the part of a few greedy men. Screenwriter Towne sidesteps knee-jerk noir tropes such as voice-over narration or a MacGuffin in favor of an overarching ambiguity contained in the film's enigmatic title, a reference to the ostensibly exotic Los Angeles district where the story's private eye protagonist once worked. In a career-topping performance, Jack Nicholson plays Private Detective J.J. Jake Gittes, a cool combination of Dashiell Hammett, Sam Spade, and Jay Gatsby. The methodical Jake tells one of his assistants, "This business requires a certain amount of finesse." His barber compares Jake to a movie star. The audience experiences every scene through Jake's eyes. A squirrely dame named Ida, played by Diane Ladd, posing as Evelyn Mulray, hires the natty Mr. Gittes to follow her dedicated water commissioner husband, Hollis Mulray, played by Daryl Zwirling, on suspicion of cheating. The complex web of deceit that Jake enters into cost him dearly along the way toward a downbeat ending that still shocks audiences. Conspiracy, incest, and murder triangulate in a real historical context of Los Angeles' scandalous past regarding its methods for bringing faraway water to a desert. The book Cadillac Desert tells this story well. For her part as the real Evelyn Cross Mulray, Faye Dunaway plays a figure of Greek tragedy proportions, a tainted heroine doomed to be violently misunderstood even by the only man committed to saving her. Far from the traditional femme fatale in which her character would have been pigeonholed during the noir film movement of the 40s and 50s, Dunaway's perfectly coiffed anti-heroine is fragile as a piece of Chantilly porcelain. Chinatown was Roman Polanski's last American film, and as such carries a particular aura of the unavoidable hand of fate. The film's lush cinematography and flawless production design exquisitely matches the ensemble's highly polished performances. Chinatown was nominated in 11 Oscar categories in 1974 and won the Academy Award for Best Screenplay. Thanks for watching, and visit ColeSmithy.com for more.